Hello, hello, hello. I
Hello.
was wrong. It took me 2 minutes, not 5. Haha.
Super fast.
Yes. Hello, Isabella. I'm doing all right. I have all of my dishes except the ones at the plate and bowl that I used for dinner done for the first time in months. They're all done at the same time. So I'm pretty stoked. How are you doing,
I
Casey?
always love it when all the dishes are done. It makes me happy.
I could wash the sink too, so the sink also looks nice.
Yes. It's something I've been working on. Me and my therapist, she set me a goal to like do the dishes, like try to like get them done like every morning. Work on my dishes. Like, okay.
Yeah,
So
and how about, or not how about, in Finch, I have a goal that's like do the day's dishes. And so it's like the goal is to get the dishes done before I go lay down for the
I
night.
should probably set that as a goal. So maybe I will do them every day.
The children also have a goal on their Finches to put the day's dishes in the sink. So I like try to remind them to do theirs so I can do mine. They're
That's
learning
smart.
they're learning how
That app is so helpful.
yes. They're learning how pushy mom can be when you're the one preventing her from checking off a thing on her checklist, which is quite pushy. Chat, I will see what you're saying in a second. I am making the banners because I was almost late because of the dishes and my eyeshadow. I won't lie. I told Casey, I'm like, if we're 5 minutes late, I don't care. Tried and failed to even it out. I'm looking in mine and Casey's chat for what my topics were supposed to be today, but Casey and I kept talking. How dare we socialize?
No socializing. I got a big old hole in my sock. Oh, dang.
Okay. And I'm only going to have 2 banners today. It'll be fine. Have a fresh London fog brewed and ready to rate. Is the London fog a drink? Is it a tea? Or did you brew up a fog to roll in for atmosphere? I'll be very impressed by that. Yeah, she is. It's a mix of things. She's on spring break, so she went home and does not have her streaming camera. And apparently, they lost power in half of the house, but only half of the house. And then also, she is not feeling well. So one day,
Lost
the banner
power. Oh
will.
my gosh.
She said it was a circuit thing. One day, the banner will not lie to you, and she will be here again. I refuse to give up on her. She refuses to give up. Just she's in the adjustment period of learning to live with a chronic illness. Fun times.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, Tina. It's been so long. I wasn't just in a call with you less than 15 minutes ago. How are you today? Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that Casey is actually the one who got me into Finch because in the Troublemaker server, she was like, hey, I want to try this self help at Finch and I need friends. And I was like, ooh, a thing for friends. And so I
Yes.
downloaded it. And oh, I'm
Yes.
loving it so much.
I'm glad that it's worked out for everyone, and like I'm not 100% yet consistent. I mean, I say that I've gotten on it every day. My
Mm-hmm.
Finch is an adult now. Like I get
So
to go to different places. Like,
in the
where
belly.
did you pick? Did you pick the safari or did you pick Maui?
I went to the safari. Where did you go?
I picked the safari as well. Like I'm like I could go to Hawaii. Like that's normal. Everyone goes to Hawaii. Like I want to go to the safari. Like that sounds like so much fun.
I
And
will not
so
lie. I saw one of the options started with an S, and I was like, that's where we're going.
yeah, yeah. I was like I want to go to safari. And so, but no, I'm so glad that everyone else is using the Finch app. My mom's using
Yeah.
it now, and my stepmom uses it, and my stepsister uses it, and it makes me so happy that it's branched out and like I got all my
I have
community
like
going with it.
I have my home my like most of my regulars have at least given it a try, and so it's so great, and it's honestly like so good for helping teach the kids their own healthy
Mhm.
habits. Like we have a rule that they're not supposed to have soda outside of noon and 8, right? Because in the morning I want them to drink something that's healthier for them to help them get a good boost to the day, and then at night they shouldn't have caffeine or like an hour before they go to bed. They shouldn't have caffeine because it
Mhm.
makes their sleep wonky. And since we
Mhm.
inputted that rule, they have slept better throughout the night. Uh, so I'll tell them in the morning, or my son, he was like, Mom, can I make it a goal on my Finch to not have more than 2 cups of soda a day? And I was like, yeah, you can 100% do that. That's great. So
Wow.
he does that. And it's their teeth brushing has gotten so much better without me bitching at them. It's great.
Well, that's awesome that he like did that by himself. That he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, mom, can I like do this by myself?" Like, that's
Hmm.
awesome. That's really cool.
And you don't have to feel that's one of the reasons I like Finch, Isabella, is because even if you're not consistent, because like other habit tracking apps and stuff will like get onto you if you've skipped or something. Finch is just like, oh, you did this like 8 times. Woohoo. It's so it's just like it's
Yeah.
great. I love it. So low
It's all
pressure.
about like, welcome back. Like, there's no pressure about it. Like, oh, it doesn't like say anything bad about like, oh, you missed a goal, like,
Yeah.
or anything like that. Like, it's just like, oh, congratulations, you completed this goal again. Like, it's nothing, anything bad. It's just so cute, and I love that you get to decorate your little bird and decorate your room, and it's
And
really cute.
and as your bird grows, you like unlock new patterns or sections of the bird to like I as the adult we just unlocked the belly. I do wish that the default colors weren't quite so jarring with the colors that I have already selected.
Yeah, cause
That
I, like, immediately went and went and bought a different color, cause I was like, "Ew,
I
I
was like,
hate that
oh,
color."
I was like, oh, there are. I had to like refresh the shop twice. I was like, I'm spending diamonds to refresh the shop. We're not sticking
Me
with this
too.
purple belly. I
I'm
don't care
glad
that
I'm
I
not
can't
the only
see the
one.
belly. It doesn't matter.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I did the same thing. I refreshed the shop, like, 2 or 3 times
I
to
am
get, like,
buying
something
every
that.
shade. I'm like buying every shade of blue for everything and every shade of pink for the cheeks because I was like, I will be able to select appealing color combinations if I so choose.
It's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so London Fog is a tea. Think of a chai latte, but with Earl Grey. I was feeling fancy today. Ooh, nice. Hello. So Tabitha, in case you need further context, Finch is a self-help habit tracking app where you can go on there and like nobody else can see your goals or anything. It's just you, unless you choose to screenshot them to each other. Uh, and it like helps you get better at certain habits or at like avoiding certain things. Like for me, dishes, I have to do the dishes twice a day, and I count that as putting the dishes away and then also just washing the dishes. And it also like is a really good reminder for me to check on certain things. You can input like habits. You can also just put like tasks that you need to do once. So like I have a task in my Finch for updating my How About with the Storyteller Hearth weekend schedule so that I know what streams that I will be on when. And then once I do that, that's just going to be a habit that goes away. But every time you do a goal, every time you succeed in everything, you get little diamonds that you can spend on your bird. And you have like you have a little pet finch that it's not a penguin. like I thought, it is a finch. And your little finch grows, and they're like your support buddy. So they tell you nice things and you teach them, and you'll get random messages throughout the day from it that's just like, I believe in you, or hope you're having a good day, and stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
awesome.
And it's really cute, like when they come back from like their adventures and they learn something new and they or they've discovered something and you get based on like your response your response to them they will they decide like how they like
How they
something
interact
like
with it, yeah.
yeah. And so like
My
my character decided they don't like or they like SpongeBob and I think that's hilarious.
my bird somehow hates chocolate, and I'm like, how did I, no, strongly dislikes chocolate, and I'm just like, how did we get here? What did I do? How did I fail you?
How did I fail you as a parent?
They also dislike the story of the ugly duckling, and I love the fact that my bird's reasoning for disliking the story of the ugly duckling was it seemed very shallow to them, and I'm like, me too. I never liked that story either. So it's great. And
That's
I will say the customer service at Finch is also amazing. My during the accident, my son lost his phone, and we hadn't backed up his Finch, which also back up your Finch. They now have an account system.
mhm.
So, and I like messaged them because I was like, hey, he was in an accident, and like really I just wanted his micro pet because he had worked very hard for his micro pet in January, and they gave him like 8 items of his choice and like some diamonds so that he could get started on the app again. And I was like, this is amazing. So
Yes.
it's great. Highly recommend. And you can be friends if you would like my friend code. I will drop my friend code in the chat. Uh, hello. The app is familiar. I've seen it before, but all right. We are glad. We hope you enjoy. Oh yeah, Tina did. You can turn the random messages off because, like, for Tina, she was like, "It's gonna be okay. What happened, friend?"
Oh no.
I
It's like,
will
I don't know what
also.
happened.
I was gonna do the intro in a minute. Foxy's yelling at me to do our intros. Uh, Another useful thing while I get my Milo note to my intro checklist is that for they have some guided things on there, like this guided anxiety one, and I talked to my kids about that one, and they all wanted to try that one out. And so they tried it out, and now like when they start like getting upset or freaking out or something, I'd be like, do your bird 3, and then they'll like focus on 3 things they can see and 3
Mhm.
things they can hear and stuff, or I'll tell them do your bird breathing. And it's like it's helped out a lot, especially with my middle one. So yes, there's
I
also
actually
that.
really like the guided stuff. I use like the guided stretching and all of that in the mornings. I like every day. I really like it.
It is a great. It's so
Mhm.
flexible. All right, so Casey, would you like to introduce yourself to the people so they can know you
Yeah.
beyond the Finch lady?
Beyond the Finch Lady, I'm Casey. I actually have a YouTube channel and I do journaling content on my channel. And I also now have a Twitch channel as well. And I do just random crafty things over there on Twitch. And that's basically me.
I enjoy Casey's journal. I was actually watching her live stream her journaling process earlier today. Y'all should go check it out.
Yeah,
And
I
I
love
am
doing my journal.
with your great ripping skills that occasionally require sacrifices.
Yes, occasionally they do. Today was one
My
of those.
I just realized I'm looking at the wrong checklist. Hold on, let me get to that. There it is. And I am writing Mom Samantha Elnassett. This is my channel where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer parent things. On Mondays, I host live streams like this, where we get some work done, do some sprinting, and talk about lots of different things. Like today, Finch, and maybe regional quirks. We'll see if we get to that far. I also have samples of my writing up on my website, samanthaalnasset.com, where you can read my spooky flash fiction, Until Pizza Do Us Part, or Our Murderous Villain short story, All That Glitters. I almost forgot the name of my stories. You can also sign up to my newsletter while you're there. And if you're enjoying your time here, you can subscribe, ring-a-ding that bell so you always know when I go live. The Storytellers Hearth Weekend Relay, which is, I have to say, slower than I did Worldwide Write-a-thon, which is wild to me. But
you have to catch yourself.
It is this month. It is, in fact, not this weekend, but next weekend. The recruiting phase is done, and we're moving on to the thumbnails and everything. So I'm very excited about that.
Fun. That's
yes,
gonna
child.
be exciting.
Huh? Yeah, I'm live streaming. You want to sit in here? Okay. I've been invaded. Oh yes, thank you, Tina. I have a Coffee Ko-Fi listed down below where you can tip me if you enjoy all the things and would like to help fund my many.
Yes, go give her some monies. We
also,
like monies, honeys.
K.C and I both frequently guest on the Nostalgia Train Book Club.
Yes, we do.
The book for this month?
The book for this month is The Ranger Apprentice. They are partnering with
Is it one of Anna's clubs or a different one?
Yes, it's one of Anne's clubs. It's the one that she's in with Anne and what is the
Ranger's
one?
Adventure. No, that's not what I'm looking for.
It's The Ranger's Apprentice. They're also reading Uprooted and something else.
I was looking for it in my library, and my library's like, you want the Rangers Texas proposal? And I'm like,
oh, thank
not
you
right
for my
now,
compliment. Maybe. Of course, I blank on what they're reading. And what
is it? The Ruins of Gorland? The Ranger's Apprentice, the Ruins of
Gorland? Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, we're reading The Ranger's Apprentice, The Ruins of Gorland, I think, or something like that.
No, there's a hold. It's okay.
That is the book of the month for
this month was actually the first month I've missed in a long, or last month was the first month I missed in a long ass time, but I had far too much going on for a book that made me angry. So I was like, yeah.
So last month was one of the first months I missed because which was very surprising considering Mistborn is one of my favorite books. And
we would have had fun discourse.
Probably
so many issues with that book.
Probably. But I was not about to read that long of a book in the shortest month. Nope. You wasn't about to convince me. And also, if I would have been able to get my hands on the audiobook, it would have been a different story. But my library had an 18-week hold on it.
Yeah, that thing always has oh god, so you have to wait so long for that.
Yeah.
I will say my sister. So when I first read it, the magic system was intriguing to me, and I didn't think too deeply on it because I'm not very science oriented when it comes to that. My sister, however, has an engineering degree, so she knew a lot about the metals. And she was like, why does this metal do that thing? Its properties. And I'm like, you are speaking a second language to me. I literally do not know. I cracked up.
And so she was like, that makes no sense to me.
She's like, does it do this or that? And I'm like, I don't know. I told you I have a cursory curiosity. I did not internalize the rules of this magic system. I am so sorry. And she's like she's trying to ask me so many in-depth questions. And I'm like, Abby, they start explaining magic systems sometimes and I zone out. I just don't care that much.
Same.
So,
yeah.
I'm trying to talk to her about this thing going on, and she's like, okay, but copper. Like, oh no.
But can we go talk about pewter?
And I'm like, okay, look, but this guy I think is her romance interest. Okay, but hold on, go back to the medal. And I'm like, I don't remember
but the
which
medal
medal made them
though.
levitate. I'm sorry, maybe it was gold. That would make no sense. I'm sorry, it would make no sense. It
Yeah.
was it was one of
No.
my favorite
Honestly
conversations with
though.
her where I knew nothing. He wanted to know so much.
That's honestly the best.
Has anybody in chat read the I was about to
The
say the
final
sorcerer's robe. That's
I
not
think
a
that one's
book.
called The Final Empire. Believe.
Miss Mistborn?
The first book is I think Mistborn. I believe it's called The Final Empire.
Anybody know anything about the magic system that I could tell my sister in more detail? All right, but our topic for today is we were going to talk about regional habits and quirks for like characters and stuff. Which I was going to attempt to, be like fine writery thing, but like apparently Casey also defaults to anime. So that's what you're getting from us today. I know it's what happens.
I mean, if you don't see like my background, like
Hold on, I have to make it
anime
bigger.
this, anime that, like
This is why we get along. we're just we're
you
just
never
too
read a
stupid.
Brandy Sandy book. Yeah. I've read this. I've read all of the Mistborn trilogy. That's the only ones that I've read of his.
I had something and then it went away, so I'm trying to catch it again. So, but it's like chasing a chicken. Chasing a chicken or herding thoughts. Fox is going to rebrand my channel as an anime manga talk channel in 3 months' time. It'll just be easier that way. I can't help it, Fox. I have found my people. My people have found me.
Yeah, I used to not even be into anime, and then my husband like finally got me to crack because I was like, no, I'm not watching anything that's in Japanese. You cannot get me to read subtitles. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I cannot enjoy my content in that way. I can't watch something and then read at the same time. And then he got me to watch Naruto in English, mind you.
So the dove, yeah.
It was dubbed, but then like halfway through Shippuden, it was no longer dubbed.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
then I
happened
had
sometimes.
but then I was deep. I
It's
was
like at that point you can't just
I was
you
way
gotta
deep in and I was like, but I've
I have
gotta know how it ends.
I have a rare voidling.
I've
Hello.
got a
Hello.
I've got a Tsunade. We
Hello,
have a
Freyr.
Tsunade.
He's like, Mother, why are you holding me? He's like, this is not how we function. Because you were about to step all over my keyboard and you know better. He's like, I will not make this folly again, Mother. I am sorry. He
And so by the time we were in deep, I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. I'll watch it subbed, fine. And so I'll watch them however they come, I'll watch it.
I will say as a disclaimer, I thank you. That is Freyr. He is my cat who has abandoned me for the children. So he sleeps upstairs with the children, in here with the children, wherever the children are, he will be. The one time he like comes to me for attention anymore, I know he's been shut out of a room that has children, and so I will take him to the children. Or the children are not home, and he has decided that since the children are not home, he will return to my presence, and that is it. So, but it's fine. I have the other 3 cats that lay on me, none of which are mine, but it is what it is. I was gonna say, I'm putting it out now that and I'm sure Casey know that not everything in anime is representative of a real world
Mm-hmm.
culture, and some things are grossly exaggerated and everything. But you can learn a lot about other cultures, or just like appreciate what would be like a regional habit or quirk from different media, such as my brain, cleaning after school. In like a lot of different animes, they take turns
Mm-hmm.
on cleaning duty, and that's actually a thing that they do in Japan because they feel it teaches responsibility and appreciation
Hmm.
for helping keep a clean environment. And I'm like, that's a thing that we should do here. So
Right? I could see that as a thing. Like, I mean, we that could be a thing here. It needs to be a
it
thing
could.
here. I mean, I definitely would. We came home and cleaned.
Well, I mean, like clean the classroom.
Oh, they would clean the classroom after school.
Fox said, yeah.
That's what you meant?
Like, so in a lot of slice of life anime, you'll like there will be a character who's just like, oh, I have cleaning duty today, or oh, hey, I have to get to my job or something, can you do cleaning duty for me? And what that is it's a reference to the fact that in Japan, after class, they rotate cleaning duties. So like one day you might be cleaning the chalkboard, another day you're sweeping, right?
That should
Fox
be a
said, I
thing.
he's like, I will not clean a room at the end of the day. Fuck you, pay me. I'm paying you with an education, sir. But like, I will
I
say
agree
my
that
kid's
should be a thing.
school, I heard on like the announcement, this woman in the announcements is, I felt so bad for her, but it was so funny to listen to because like my mom and I are sitting in the school parking lot, and I hear over the announcements just like, teachers, remember to have your students pick up your classroom before the end of the day, to show our janitors a little appreciation or something. Make sure that like your books are tidied and all this and this and that. And then like a little while later, she's like, teachers, we were not dismissing the students. Please take the students back to your classroom. And then she had to do a third announcement. By the third announcement, you could just tell in her tone she was so done. She was
She was
just like,
over it. She was
clean
not having
your
it.
classrooms. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I need to know what happened. That they are like, teachers,
She
we have
was
to take care of
over
all of
it.
your children.
She's like, just do this. No, I agree that definitely needs to be a thing. Like, because like it'd be nice to have some responsibility.
Yeah, and
Like
it
take some
also just like,
responsibility for the classroom and not
I
just put it on the teachers as a thing and like put it on the adults.
and
Like,
I think it like translates to like when they're older too, because I let me tell you, I had some
mhm,
friends that I wanted to smack upside the head at movie theaters because they would just like leave their drinks or their like popcorn in a seat, and they're like, oh
mhm,
well, they get paid to clean that up, and I'm like, bitch, who raised you in the South? Like,
mhm.
you an implant? Because that's not what we do. Like, we're not making the janitor's life harder just to make it harder. No, their job is to
Well,
clean up the
that
popcorn you
also.
accidentally spilled, not the popcorn you purposely left there.
Well, that and also I know so many times, like I know a lot of people that have a hard time, like once they leave their parents' homes, even knowing how to take care of their
Oh
own home,
yeah.
you know, like and knowing how to even maintain a home. And so
Yeah, like I
to
wash
so
my walls once or twice a year, and I have so many friends who are like, "Why would you wash your walls?" And I'm like, "Why wouldn't you wash your walls? Get dirty."
yeah.
So, like, I'm not
So it's
saying you
like
have to bleach down your wall once a year, but
yeah. Yeah. So it's like things like that. It's like you would never even think to be taught. Like so it'd be nice to like have things.
and yeah. And I agree with Isabella. Anime and manga have some amazing references for how regional habits and magic affect the people. Fairy Tale and how magic makes guilds, and One Piece Islands equals lots of pirates. That too.
Mhm.
They can be. They can be. A YouTuber called Murphy Napier has a series called Dear Authors. There's a video on world building and how we can't have our world with magic because magic heavily affects the way of life, making it different. I mean, I could agree and disagree with that because contemporary fantasy or paranormal fantasy, that's like what
That
the
basically is
genre
our world.
does. It's
Yeah.
like it's an alternative our world if these things existed within there.
Yeah.
So, and like the veil, and it takes a lot of like a lot of those genres will take like real world phenomenon and mysteries and offer explanations, which can be just as fantasizing. Fascinating is the word I wanted. It was not the word that was coming out though. So
Well,
I
it's
do
about
and I
thinking of.
don't.
Well, it's also like the author has to think of, okay, when did the magic was, if it was happening in our world, when was the magic discovered? Was it always here, or
Mm-hmm.
was it discovered? And two, how did that affect things coming about?
And also, did it die down or was it like eliminated and so now it's being rediscovered? Because there's a lot of
Mhm.
like Celtic and similar cultures that like maintain that they had magic very heavily in their like religions and everything before their cultures were sanitized by invaders. So there's that too.
Mhm.
But my brain is going off the hinges. I know that some like habits that I like from characters are often ones that like either I empathize with myself or just that kind of they do and they don't. They make the character stand out to me, but not necessarily like stand out. Like anytime there's a character who just feeds the others, but it's like not made a big deal about. So it's just like, they're just sitting there and then somebody brings out a plate of oranges or a plate of sliced apples. And I'm like, I love that because that's like what my family does. We just feed each other.
Yeah. Yeah, like I love the type of character, like I love the quintessential like motherly or like grandma character that like just wants to like feed you.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like the
Yes.
one that's like I want to just feed you and like make sure you're like taken care of.
See, I feel
Like I
like
love those types of
that's
characters.
quintessentially Southern for us. So we're like,
It is.
yeah, that's what you
Like,
do.
oh, like
But
that's just home.
and that's one reason I enjoy like anime and webtoons and stuff because it's also very common in Asian countries for them to do
Mhm.
that. And I'm like, I relate. I understand.
Yep,
I
yep.
too am fed at random.
Like
Like I
that my
told my
husband has a.
mom I told my mom this one of the things that I miss from living at my mom's house is because my
Mhm.
sister likes experimenting with recipes, but she doesn't like eating nearly as much, which is baffling to me because I just love eating. So she would just randomly bring me out food or a recipe that she tried. And like last time I was over, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, we made these potato balls." And it's just like meat and like carrots and cheese inside of a potato. And I was like, it was delicious. And I'm like,
That
oh,
sounds
this is
amazing.
amazing. And I'm like, this is what I miss. And she's like, oh, okay, well, next time we make some and stuff, we'll drop some off at your house. So I'm like, yes.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Like my husband has a coworker that works in the kitchen where he works, and she's like one of those like motherly people, and I absolutely adore her, and she's constantly just supplying him with like desserts and food and all this to just like just bringing him stuff and like bringing him like and like making sure like, okay, make sure you bring home food to your wife, like, oh, I just love you so much. I
That's
guess
my
bring
goal.
me home all the desserts.
My husband works at a company that is Korean owned, and there's a woman that works there with him, and we call her his K mom, because she's very motherly towards him, and she like sends him home like certain dishes and stuff that like I'll see them and I'm like, oh my god, they had that like they had that on my K drama, or that was in my webtoon. I know what this is. She sent home this one pastry, and my husband was like, I don't actually know what this is. I can't remember. And I bit into it, and I'm like, oh, this is red bean. And he's like, oh, that's the texture. It's bean. I'm like, yeah, red bean's one of my favorite fillings. Like when we go to a Chinese buffet, they've got these little red bean filled pastries that look like peaches, which the first time I had one was really trippy because I'm like, you look like a peach. You taste nothing like a peach. I don't understand what's going on here. But they are delicious. Kelly said, I'm not sure if my magic systems are habit or regional, but in some places the magic is conjured by forming an image in your mind, and the other system is what you can't make. What if you can't make that image in your mind? Oh, so like people with and without aphantasia. That could be really interesting to see what people from different places then imagine in their minds. Like when you tell them all to imagine, like to summon a spoon and see the different spoons. And the system that uses images is in the south, and the system that has to find other ways of making magic is in the Northern Isles. It's fun. The cottage pie ball. So much of my novels revolve around food, but the person who feeds you is generally a crone who won't put up with any BS. I love those old ladies too. A bakery called Porto's Bakery has potato balls where it's sort of like a shepherd's pie in a deep fried ball.
That's basically what that sounds like. Sounds delicious.
It was. Where is the? There it is. I was like, I thought I put you in full screen. That's 35. Hold on, that's an ugly number. We're going to 30. All right, we're gonna start our first sprint.
Let's do it.
I have some things I need to do. I have been enjoying the conversation. All right. Do you want to count us down, Casey, while I go find my banners?
Yes. Let's do this sprint. I hope everyone is very productive. Remember to like and subscribe. Okay? Please and thank you kindly. Yes. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
We're back, but I want to finish the sentence, so give me one moment. Okay. No. I was trying to delete this L that shouldn't have been there, but I'd go back and try to delete the L and then just kept hitting the L. And I was like, why am I tormenting myself?
My lights
So
are flashing.
how did everybody do, and what are they working on? I'm working on a book recommendation thingy for the Ravenhawks.
I'm reading Uprooted by Naomi Novik.
Oh, I love her, I think. She wrote the Temimir series, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is a reread. This is such a good book. I'm really hoping it sparks some inspiration because this is actually, when I read the book the first time, it made me want to write one of my brain dump files. And so I'm really hoping it makes me want to continue to write in my brain dump file.
You gotta like
that I haven't
trick your
wrote in.
brain. However,
Yeah.
you gotta trick your brain.
So I'm going to read it again. And it helps that Anne's book club is reading it this month. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll read it.
I told myself I have to do 2 things and then I can go back to working on my current whip. And I was going to do those 2 things over my children's spring break. And then my one child, like my middle child, got a fever. It was a 24-hour bug. Okay, dealt with that. My youngest got the same fever, 24-hour bug. Okay, good with that. My oldest and my youngest were roughhousing, and she accidentally stabbed him in the eye. So he couldn't really do anything, right? So except listen to an audiobook, which so like we cuddled and listened to the audiobook. Okay. Then his eye, the swelling started going down and he got an earache. And he like woke up at 5 and could not sleep, so I had to deal with that. And then the next day, he got the 24-hour bug belatedly, days after. And I was like, okay. And then the weekend came, and the weekend is pretty much just like doing family stuff. And of course, one of my dogs had accidentally gotten locked into the garage den, so she like peed in here. And I was out of baking powder, so I couldn't clean it up until the next day. So I couldn't get the enzymes out fast enough before my cats were like, "Why is there dog enzyme in here?" And then, of course, they had to pee somewhere in rebellion. And I'm like,
Oh, of course. Of course, they can't just.
But I'm working on one of the 2 things so I should have that done by the end of tonight.
That light will stay off for a second and let it reboot. So maybe it'll stop flashing for a minute.
It's okay. The only reason I have backlight is the desktop, which I can't turn enough. But also, I forgot how much I greatly prefer the keyboards with like the standy out buttons. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I need to get one of these for my laptop. And just put it on top of my laptop. Because I type so much faster with those.
Yeah. Every time I switch to my laptop from my desktop, like my work computer, to my laptop, I make so much more errors. It's ridiculous. Like, really?
Yeah, my old laptop had the buttons that stuck out. This one does not. These are tiny, and it's especially bad because like these are my nails.
Mm-hmm.
They just so like the big buttons I can do, The little buttons, I have to keep my nails trimmed because I'll be trying to hit K and I hit I and O at the same time. And I'm like, why?
Yep.
These were not the
Yeah.
letters I wanted.
Yeah, no, I read some that spring. Well, first I ate dinner because dinner was ready. It was very delicious. And then I read some. I didn't get very far because, like I said, I ate dinner.
As one do. I ate dinner before the stream because I made chili on Saturday, and then I remembered we had hot dogs, and I
Oh,
was like, I can have chili dogs with my chili.
that sounds delicious.
It
That sounds
was.
really good.
Tina said, in my whip, I use the rule of Xenia being a bad host / inhospitable is blasphemous. And so one character gets super upset that his guest refuses his food because he doesn't want to look like a bad host. Don't be refusing food. Thank you. I did some sketching and chatted with a friend. Nice. Tabitha got 620 words done for the current whip. I ate some dinner and was working on my website. For school, I need to make a portfolio website, but I'm going to change it into my author website once school is over. I mean, that's fair. You already put
That
in
is
the
very
work.
smart.
I
Very
don't remember. I was going to do a thing. I hate when that happens. It's like I am all prepared to say a thing responding to the thing that I just read. And then I'm like, and now it's my turn. What was I going to say?
It's like, dang it. I hate when that happens. Like you have it all booted up and then all of a sudden reboot.
It's all booted, and then my brain goes Control Z. And I'm like, why? I do not. I have a giant like thing of the Raven boys just staring at me right now because I was like, for the like little Raven boy recommendation I was doing, I was like, let me get a link to the website. And did you know that there is a website called let me get the name of it. It's called booktriggerwarnings.com.
No, I did not.
Yeah. And it just lists the book trigger warnings. I'm like, I don't
Apparently, I
know.
should have known that. I should
Because
have known that for January.
it's it's been a first. It's because I just finished book 3, and I like wanted to write the trigger or content warnings for book 1, but I'm like, oh god, that was last year. Which book
It was.
did what happen in? So I was like, oh, let me just see trigger warning or content warnings for the Raven Boys. And then one of the first things that popped up was booktriggerwarnings.com / the Raven Boys. And I'm like, what is this handy
This is
dandy
a
thing?
thing? What the heck? Like, I did not even
And it
realize
like
that was
it
even a thing.
yeah, it has like it's like it references this or it has that. I like that there's attempted murder at the top and then later on in the list there's murder. And I'm like, so attempted and successful murder?
I
So
mean, they technically are two different things.
they are. I
So
just thought it was funny. They're also like separated because it was all in alphabetical order, I think. But
that's
that was just how
hilarious.
my mind translated it. So
Attempted
attempted
murder.
and successful.
Yes. I mean, but that's a very helpful website. I like that.
Yeah, so I highly recommend it
I'll have
because,
to
well,
look into that in the future.
and it looks like Wiki, like aesthetically, it looks very similar to Wikipedia, except I like the colors on the trigger warnings better. So,
Hmm.
Isabella ate some dinner and was working on. Oh wait, I already read that. Why did I think it just popped up as new? My brain, y'all, my
I had to
brain.
make a website for a school project one time. They're like, oh, you could use this for a future thing. I was like, that comment makes me wish I could have kept it. It's like, I don't remember the website name now.
I made a website for myself back in the day. Showed it to Fox for judgment. And he said it wasn't the worst, and I was like, yes. So,
Hey, you know what? If it's not the worst, that's always the
I'll take
greatest
it.
compliment out there. I'll take that as a good compliment.
I want to say it was higher than a 5 out of 10, but I don't know if I'm remembering it or flattering light then.
You
So,
know what? I'll take the flattering light sometimes.
and then he made my new website, and I was like, I knew nothing. I know nothing. But it's fine. It's fine. I can't wait until I can make the new page public, which is just not public yet, but it will be one day. If you sign up to my newsletter, you get to see it before everybody else. But it will be the page for Save Her Soul, um, which is the current whip with the shifter pit fighting that I've been talking about since October, I think. So I spent that sprint data mining for data mining for a research paper on mead I will be writing. Mead. This
Mead.
honey. It's not honey
Mm.
beer. That's the wrong word. I
It's
can't
like
I
honey
can't
wine.
yeah, honey wine. I'm like I can't remember exactly what type of alcohol it is other than it is made
Yeah.
from honey.
Yep. I love mead. Mead's good. We
Do
have
I? It's so good.
there's a winery that's they make mead out of all their wine, obviously out of all their wine, out of their honey, and they for our wedding we got married on a cruise, and so we couldn't bring like traditional like guest books and things like that on to the cruise with us. And so before we got married, for our we had like our wedding shower beforehand, and so we got one of the honey meads, and we actually got used that as our guest book, like our sign in, and so we had everyone sign the bottle, and so we kept the bottle.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so we have
Yeah.
it and like on one of our shelves, and so one of these days we'll actually drink it. We still have it, but it was supposed to be drank on like our first anniversary. Never drank it.
that, that happens sometimes. You just
It's
forget it's there.
it's still sitting up there.
We went to Gatlinburg for a while every year for our anniversary, and they have a honey shop where like they just sell lots of different kinds of honey.
Mhm.
My favorite honey is lavender honey. Now that I have sampled
Mhm.
many different kinds, and so I every year try to get a jar of the lavender honey because it's $25, but it lasts me like the year
Mhm.
because it costs so much, so I use it sparingly. But
Mhm.
it's so good. And they also sold some mead, and we got the apple spice mead, and that
Oh,
was
that
tasty.
sounds good. That does
There's
sound good.
there's a supposed to be a meadery around here, but I've yet to go. But I want to.
Yeah, they have the one that that's I like. They've got a winery and a meadery and a honey farm and all of that. It's kind of cool.
Meadery is a weird word to say, isn't it? It's like is
It
this
is.
am I is this is the word? This is the
That's
word.
that's a word, right? Meatery.
Uh Isabella's currently my site includes fashion art and writing stuff in it. Once I'm done, I'll delete the fashion and art stuff so it's strictly used for my novels. That's fair. Although if you would like to share, I am very interested in fashion art and writing. These It's a trifecta of my interests. It is honey, yeast, and water at its simplest. However, it is very often flavored with everything from fruits to spices. I just brewed a really nice cherry vanilla mead. So it's like a honey beer, I think, because beer is made with yeast. Or is it? Is it? Hold on, let me see. What type of alcohol is it? Just its own category?
Yeah,
No,
I
I
don't
don't
know if it's
care
closer to
about White
beer or is it
Claw.
closer
What?
to wine. Because to me, I always
It might
considered
be.
it closer to wine.
Yeah, okay. It says it's a honey wine because it's made by fermenting honey with water. Like beer, mead is sometimes flavored with fruit spices. We're just putting it in its own category now.
Yeah.
It's in between. It's like
It's its
wine,
own. It's like
mead, beer.
yeah, it's its own thing. It's an in-betweener.
I spent the spring eating and driving home, and now I'm studying for some competitions I'm doing later this week. What kind of competitions, RP?
And good luck.
Kelly has confirmed it is its own category.
Yep. It's its own thing.
One of the other top questions is mead a wine or whiskey? It is not a whiskey, that I know for sure.
It is its own category.
Being from Tennessee, I know more about whiskey than I ever should.
I definitely know it's not a whiskey.
That's somebody had a question about bourbon, and I was like, I'm pretty sure bourbons are only from Kentucky because they're like, it's a ridiculously hyper specific kind of whiskey. It's like a whiskey that is brewed in Kentucky in a barrel that's like at least this many years old. I think it has to be a specific wood type too. Otherwise, it's not considered a bourbon. I'm like, it's so hyper specific. No, there's no such thing as a Tennessee bourbon because by definition, can't be made outside of Kentucky. So
I have no freaking clue.
I don't know. That was just one of the Google things.
Is that really what someone asked on Google? What's the difference
Well,
between mead and whiskey?
it's you know how like you type in a question in Google and then
Yeah,
it
it
will
is
like
like
also
one of the
show popular questions
popular.
underneath.
Yep.
That was like the second to the
Oh my
top.
gosh.
So I assume at least one human has asked it. Oh yeah, and it's only the first time using that barrel is the bourbon. The rest is so like
Oh really?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's right.
See, I don't
I
know
always
too much about
encourage
that.
fact checking. Everybody, always fact check. But if I remember correctly, he's right. You in order to make a bourbon, it has to be made in Kentucky in a barrel that's at least so many years old. I think from a specific type of wood, but it might be more flexible on the type of wood. And then only the first batch of whiskey from that barrel is bourbon. The rest of it is just whiskey. So and I don't
Learn something new every day.
like
Learn
that.
something new every day.
I should look into that one day. Just why is this such a hyper specific thing? I can't make too fun of it because I know there's like a lot of things out there that's like that, that's hyper like specific and whatnot. It's just that's the one that I know because that's the one in my backyard. Kentucky's right over there.
Mm-hmm.
My college is participating in a nationwide event for horticulture related college programs. So I would not have been too far off if I had asked you if it had like anything to do with your greenhouse skills. I was like, RP has built their own greenhouse.
Oh, cool. Yeah, based off of their next comment, I actually kind of know what they're talking about. I was in FFA
Yeah.
and in high school, and so um, one of my friends participated in competitions and stuff like that in high school.
I wish you much luck. I know that you worked very
Yes, good
hard on
luck.
your greenhouse. So there are a lot of laws pertaining to naming laws of different alcohols. It's about protecting the name. Such a fascinating kind of elitism that's just very
It really
widely
is.
accepted as necessary, but it is. Let me tell you, bourbon is not necessarily smoother than whiskey, but it's all right. So, no, I can't check you right now, Storytellers Hearth. I have to mute you for 3 hours. For the Storytellers Hearth, for anybody who doesn't know, is a triannual. Well, the weekend relay is a triannual event that we're hosting. This is like the most hands off I've been helping set up one since I started helping. But with everything going on, just kind of just took the reins and said, "I got this. You just go live life." And I'm like, "All right, I'll just do my life things." So it's really weird to not like be checking in on the chats and adding all the roles and stuff. I'm like, it's not my job right now.
Yep. Yep. What? That's crazy.
Sparkling wine and champagne are the same thing, but champagne can only be called champagne if it was brewed in Champagne, France. Oh, that is fascinating. See, and
Hmm.
this we found a way to make the food work for our regional conversation, y'all. We did.
Mm-hmm. We really did.
I
Well, it's
had no
like
doubt chat would
don't ever go to Scotland and call it Scotch. They'll make fun of you.
really.
That
What do they call
it's
it in
not
Scotland?
whiskey.
Oh, Scotch is
It's just
whiskey. I never thought about it.
it's just normal whiskey.
Yeah. I just sorry, my mind is momentarily blown because I've never thought about it because I'm like, I've never had scotch before. So I had no idea that scotch and whiskey are just the same thing.
Because Scotch is short for like Scottish whiskey.
Oh. So a scotch is like a whiskey brewed in Scotland?
I'm pretty sure. I heard it on
Or is
a
it
like a
or is it just like French fries where it's not it has no actual
no, I'm pretty
relation
sure
to
it's
the
Scottish
country?
whiskey. It's whiskey brewed in Scotland. Correct me if
Oh.
I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I
Um,
heard that on a podcast that was
what
from these people that
is
were in Scotland or from Scotland.
to start, Scotch is a whiskey as opposed to a whiskey, similar to its cousin bourbon.
Oh
It's
my god,
whiskey without an e.
the sky.
It's a whiskey. I'm sure it's both. They're both pronounced whiskey, but like that's the only
Mhm.
way I could think to show the difference. Whiskey is a spirit distilled from a combination of grains like barley, wheat, rye, and corn. Types of amounts of grains. Da, 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 da. Scotch is traditionally only made from water and malted barley. Okay, so I
But from what I
Scotch.
understood when I was listening to that podcast, they would make fun of you if you go over there and you order a scotch. Because
I would imagine so, because all their local whiskey would just
they're like,
be
that's
yeah.
whiskey.
I love is back to Encyclopedia Britannica. Scotch is whiskey or whiskey parentheses no e that gets its distinctive smoky flavor from the process in which it is made. I'm
That's hilarious. That's like very distinctive, like no E.
no e, no e. Don't add an e. And it says Scotch tastes smoother than whiskey. So
Yeah, it can only be called scotch if it's distilled in Scotland.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's much like bourbon then. They have their own, like, process. It's just cracking me up that it's like, "It is a whiskey, not a whiskey. You take your E and get out of here."
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was listening to them on a podcast. They were like, "Don't call it scotch because they're gonna like think it's like a like very like you want to know how like quickly identify yourself as an American. You
If you
order a
don't want
scotch.
them to just know you're American, don't do
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things. Excuse me.
that was one
So,
of them.
don't add E to the whiskey. Just
Yeah,
Leave the E
so
off.
what was it, just a Y?
Yeah, it's like, hold on, I'll type it in the chat. It is a whiskey aunt whiskey. Is it H, right? WH. Yes, there is. I had a moment where my dyslexia was like, there's no H
What
there.
is
And I'm
it
like, wait,
again?
yes, there is. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
whiskey, not a whiskey. Which now I need to know, what is whiskey? Is it its own thing, different from whiskey?
Or is it just spelt different?
That's what I need to know. Whiskey or whiskey is a type of distilled alcoholic beverage.
This or this?
Okay. Whiskey is typically aged in wooden casks, which are typically made from charred white oak. Uncharred white oak casks previously used for the aging and all of that. The word whiskey or whiskey is Anglan. Oh, okay, that's probably why. Adding the E is the Anglicized version of it, but it's
Mm.
originally a Gaelic word, so that's probably why.
Oh, so the without the
I
E is the
know they're
Gaelic spelling.
pronounced the same way, Kelly, but how am I supposed to distinguish the words to you while I am talking if I don't do this?
So without the E is like a Gaelic spelling of it.
Yeah, so whiskey,
Oh,
pronounced whiskey, would be the original Gaelic spelling, whereas
interesting.
whiskey is the Anglicized version. So that would
Yeah.
be why Scotch is that would be why
It's a whiskey.
Scottish would be like, it is a whiskey. Which I
Interesting.
respect it. Reclaim your spelling. Get rid of the E. It doesn't need to be there. It's fine.
Yeah. I interesting. Very interesting.
This is education hour. We're learning all about our alcohols and our language.
Yes. Yes. Hey, you know what? We were talking about
We're talking about
uh
regional whiskeys.
regional, yeah. We were talking about regional stuff and this is exactly that. Okay.
I really want to do something like this in my books now. just just have a
Have a
drink.
full long conversation about
No, I mean, like, have a drink or a food or something that is essentially the same thing, just prepared slightly differently. It reminds me of like sushi versus bibimbap, which Fox says, if you make your whiskey around cats, it's called whiskey, or Wiski. If you make it at a ski lodge, it's called Whiskii. Whiskey. But no, yeah, it reminds me of like sushi and bibimbap, or kimbap, which for those who don't know, sushi is a Japanese dish made with, seaweed wrap and rice and usually a raw type of fish and sometimes a veggie in there. And then kimbap is a Korean dish, also like made with by rolling rice and vegetables and usually a cooked meat in it. And they are very similar dishes, but they are like different because like the veggies and stuff are different. And
Mhm.
like sushi is usually raw, kimbap is usually cooked. So that's what it reminds me of.
Hmm.
Alcohol is an important part of regional habits. It really is.
It really is. It really is.
Uh, I don't know how to pronounce that, but I will attempt. Usually Beth equals Scottish Gaelic for whiskey. It means water of life. The water of, well,
I could definitely see a Scottish person saying that the whiskey is water of life. So
in this here region of the South, there would be much agreement as well. Although we do have a lot of people of Celtic and Gaelic descents, so there, there might be a connection. Yes, phone. May I help you? Getting notifications all of a sudden.
You're very popular.
My phone has had the Legend of Zelda like menu notification noise from Ocarina of Time for years. My children just started playing Ocarina of Time like last year, and now when my phone goes off, they're like, "Mom, your phone sounds like Ocarina of Time." And I'm like, "Does it now?"
Really? It sounds like that forever.
It's like, I like that this is your thinking process, not the Zelda thing sounds like my phone notification, considering you've heard my phone notification for far
Mhm.
longer. But it's okay. I appreciate it. I don't know why Fox sent me a gift telling me it's time to grow up, but alcohol's grown up talking.
I don't remember what. It was funny the other day. What was it the other day? What was it? My co-star. All it said was burst.
Mine was like, "What does the
It's like
salt of the
thank
earth
you.
mean to you?" I'm like, "What do you mean the salt of the earth? Sodium?"
Yeah, it's like thank you. It's like what am I
Are
supposed to do with burst?
Oh, I got it.
Very
Okay,
very
so
helpful co-star.
mine was warning me or asking me about the salt of the earth. Yours was warning you about burst. We were supposed to put it together and know that demons were coming, so we needed to blow them up with some salt.
Apparently, you needed to watch your sodium, and I needed to not go outside because I was gonna explode or something.
Explode in the sunlight.
I don't know.
My dad was on some medication that like made him allergic to sunlight for some reason, and so we like razzed on him so hard about his vampire age showing. But now he doesn't have to take that medicine anymore. And we're like, well, I mean, that's good for your health, but our jokes.
Damn, the jokes though.
It's like we can't harass you anymore.
I'm gonna
This
have
is
to
very
find new
rude of you.
jokes. But we liked the really convenient jokes, Dad.
We did. I mean, I'm already convinced he was some sort of occult mercenary in his youth. It fits so well.
I mean, I got a past life reading the other day just out of curiosity and was told that I was probably executed as a witch.
Fair.
I'm like, you know what? Knowing me, that's probably accurate.
It's one of those things where you go, well,
It's
makes
like
sense.
knowing me makes sense.
My dad's just weird about certain things. Like he's got this tattoo, and he's told me and my sisters that if we're ever like traveling or anything and somebody sees us and they're like, "Do you know like a man with this tattoo?" we're to tell them no and just walk away quickly. And I'm like, "Father, father, father, could I have more context, father? Why why is this tattoo, sir?"
Oh my gosh. Sounds like a handful.
It's very much a handful. He was messing with my mom because one of my sisters is asexual, and so like she's we were talking about her like turning 30 soonish or something, and my father would be like,
Mm.
"Yes, I will have a child who," or he's like, "I will have a child who is a 30-year-old virgin. I will be able to perform the ritual for my immortality." And my mom was like, "No, you're not sacrificing any of my children." He's like, "Do you realize I never thought that I would be able to do this?" And she's like, "And you're not gonna."
I mean, if
Like,
they
but
volunteer as
why?
tribute, then it.
I'm like, why does the ritual specifically require a 30-year-old one? Like, It's very specific, like bourbon and
Oh
scotch.
gosh.
I'm telling you, some weird occult mercenary in his youth.
Just maybe, just maybe.
I pretend people come here for the writerly conversation, but really, this is what they come here for.
uh, I mean, it gets interesting.
Never a dull time.
I was about to say, never a dull moment.
Hawk said she will not. You have never once pretended that. Only I do. Oh. So he said she will not because he is not allowing either. He's not allowing my sister to be 30 soon, or he's not allowing her to be sacrificed. And then he's also calling me out on not pretending that people come here for writerly conversations. He's like, I pretend that. He does. He tries so hard. He lives in a world where this is a writing channel about writerly things.
I mean, you get writing done.
They're a fun time. I do talk about my look, it's not my fault that I haven't been able to work on my whip, and therefore I subconsciously avoid talking about it.
I mean, you were
The
just
whole world
talking about
knows.
how you want to write about
Yeah,
sushi.
I do. Sushi and whiskey and something similar. Oh, that's one of my favorite things about like shifter cultures cuz like um so for example, leopards and jaguars are very similar, but like leopards are native to Asia, whereas jaguars are native to the Americas. So then I'm like, oh, so like my leopard shifters should be more like uh have more like Asian culture inspirations and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like my jaguar should be more like Central American and everything. So that's what now I have to learn more about those things and decide. But it's gonna be a fun time. And
Yeah.
I wish that I could get a full cast audiobook because I want an Australian voice actor for my kangaroo shifter. I have a
Well,
need.
like one thing that's got on my mind now that I'm reading this, it reminds me for like one of my projects, it's divided by like a mountain range, and one side's got magic and the other side doesn't. And so that's definitely something that is going to take into effect, like how obviously it's
How things
developmentally,
develop. Yeah.
yeah, like how that affects everybody and everything.
On one at the side with magic, they could have like a whiskey that is like very strong, and they use magic to have it very quickly. So like it's like about how young the whiskey, or like the speed of which the whiskey was made is the bragging right, whereas on the side without magic it's the age of the whiskey.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
That would be funny.
I love that you're not questioning the sacrifice as possible, just the age. Look, if anybody figured out a way to become immortal, it would be an ancient immortal's father, would it not? But yes, look, there's just certain things that require very hyper specific things, and I'm as with the bourbon and the scotch, I'm and champagne. I'm just very interested as to A, how these hyper specific things came about, and B, why. My headcanon is your cheetah shifter drinks a strong whiskey. He has to. He's a cheetah. He metabolizes so damn fast. If he wants to feel any kind of buzz, it's got to be like pure vodka or whiskey or something. In my series, the Water Boy is a cheetah shifter, and he is a fan favorite already. His name is Chirpy because cheetahs chirp. They don't meow, or at least their meows sound like chirps to me.
That's cute. I like that name.
Thank you. He has an actual name. It's written somewhere in a profile, but he just goes by Chirpy. Let me go see if I can find it. What is his name?
It's
I'm
funny. It's
navigating
been
my
so
island
long
note.
when I opened my brain dump for this one, and a while ago. It's been so long since I had opened it. I forgot I had even named some of the characters. It's like, for what? What even is some of these? Like I named some of these. Like what even is this?
Oh, his name is Mur Chirpy Maza. Because I think he's Middle Eastern. Let me double check the origin of the word. I really enjoyed the spelling of this name. When it pops up. No, not the month, the name. Yeah,
I like that.
it's Persian. But he's Mer Chirpy Maza. My head canon. Oh wait, I'm glad that you enjoy his name. I realized I did something on accident, and I'm not undoing it. All of the cats' names start with M.
Oops.
So, like Moxie is my jaguar. She's the main character. Her name's Melina. And then Chirpy is a cheetah, and his name is Mur. And then my tiger shifter is Miguel. So I'm not undoing it. This is their names, and their names are staying that. Because apparently, to me, Big Cat is M. Excuse me.
Yeah, I named.
I could make it make sense in verse because they're cats, and cats meow and meh.
They go,
I made it made sense. Sam unconsciously confusing readers with her large cast. Look, it happens. S is my favorite letter, she says, names everyone with an M she does. Look, Fox. You know how many characters I have with the letter S name. I actively try not to forget. So many. All of the main characters.
That was my character's name, apparently. I named her Zelina.
I like that though. That looks really pretty.
I like it too.
Miguel is in fact not super twinky because he is a tiger. Therefore, he is a brick house. He's huge.
And then I named the main male character. Where's his name? Oh, I named him Dimitri.
What year?
Oh, he got named Dimitri.
Yes. I enjoy the name Dimitri. Oh, it's the good spelling, Dimitri. I don't know why that's my favorite spelling of Dimitri. It just is. And also, Isabella, I need a large cast because, I want to write a lot of different books. And the series is just going to be called The Pit. It's just because that's what I refer to it. That's the fighting ring where all my shifters fight. The pit itself has very little to do with the plot, but the universe will be centered around it. All right, we're going to go ahead and do our second sprint so that I can
do it.
Yeah, that button. There we go. I will one day have it full screened before it comes up on the screen.
One day.
Fox, I'm not making a series, she says. It's a series. I want many books, she does. Look, we decided mutually as a community it would be a series when everyone decided Chirpy needs his own book about finding love or friendship with a golden retriever. One of the two. because I had like 2 different ideas for a love interest, and also there's that thing where cheetahs have emotional support golden retrievers, and it's just this.
Everyone needs
No,
an emotional support golden retriever.
Fox, you don't understand. Chirpy deserves his own full-length featured novel and his blog. He gets both. Why would you deny him? But all right, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, started. Hello, we're back. How did everybody do this spring?
Good.
I called Fox and harassed him about an idea I had for a story while I also worked on my second book recommendation post. So
Good job. Good job.
oh,
I did some more reading, and then I ate some Oreos, and then I did some more reading.
Noms. I have a playlist that was playing, and I just remembered to turn it off. Hello, did you tell the children to start showering for me? Hold on.
How did everybody else do? Hope everyone else did good on the sprint. I'm reading Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Has anyone else read this book? It is pretty good. It is a reread for me. Have you read this book?
Came in for a good night kiss.
Uprooted?
No, I do not think I have. Nope.
You should. It's a good book.
Who is it by?
Naomi Novik.
Oh, that's right. I said that earlier. Naomi Novik.
Yeah, you said you read the
Mimir. Well, I haven't read the entire series, but I've read part of it. I own many of them in paperback, but alas, I was reading them at a time when I then had children, and paperback became increasingly difficult to actually read. So,
yep.
I still have the paperbacks over there in my book chest, just waiting. I only got 138 words written, but finally got this God's Forsaken chapter done. Well, congrats on getting the God's Forsaken chapter done. That's the important part.
Good job, Kelly.
I am almost done setting up my surprise for the month, which newsletter subscribers will get to see before everybody else. So if you're not subscribed, you can do so at my website.
Be a subscriber.
Be a subscriber. See all the things early. Know the things early.
Gotta be a subscriber to know the things. Yes. Get all the things.
Get them. Is that a very displeased kitty? Yeah, it's fine. I was just trying to figure out. I was like, it's coming from my ears, right? Not my cat.
Serious black.
You know, sometimes it's just that way, and that's what editing and revisions are for. So that, but at least it's done because you can edit something. You can't edit nothing.
He thinks he needs to be in here, so
that's fair. So my husband and I were watching something the other day, and it was like just time for us to watch things. And first he was playing a game, and I was just laying in the bed. And then my cat Artemis just climbed up and went to bed on my thigh, just a singular thigh, while I was laying there. And I'm like, all right, you can stay there. But eventually she like adjusts so that she's just all up in my lap at different angles. And she laid there for 3 hours without moving. And I was like, you good? You comfy? You getting some nice sleep? And finally,
straight
at one
up
point,
passed out.
At one point, I was like, all right, Artemis, here's the deal. I have to pee. And I don't let no one stop me from peeing when I really have to pee. So you have 7 minutes, and then you have to get up.
Like precisely 7 minutes. I'm going to set a timer.
And then in 7 minutes, I needed to go upstairs, take care of the kids. So that was her time limit. And then, like, she took 3 more minutes to be cozy. And then she got up, she stretched, she lazily got off the bed and stuff. And I was like, I'm glad we understand one another.
She's like, okay, fine. I'll give you
Fine.
7 minutes. Fine.
You don't have to push me off. I know when I'm not wanted anymore. And then I went upstairs to put the kids to bed. And she went upstairs with me and proceeded to lay on my hip. And I was like, oh, we're back to this now. She's very attached to me.
I used to have a cat that would lay on my hip. It was funny. Sirius isn't
She's
one
like,
of those. He doesn't do that.
Balder likes to lay beside me, but does not like to cuddle unless it's like bedtime. And then specifically with my arms like this, and he'll like go in the little circle of it and put his paws over my hand. And when I like try to take my hand, he'll just be like, no. But if I try to take it a second time,
when I lay like this at night, he'll put his hands like this, and he'll lay down like that.
He's like, we don't move now.
Yep. He's a sweet boy when he likes to be. When he feels like
future editing me. I like to give future Sam all kinds of problems. Which is why I'm not too fond of past Sam a lot of the times. Then present Sam just has to suffer through it all. Like, what are some of the... I was like, why do I have notes on English wolf? And then I'm like, oh, no, I know why. Okay. I was researching wolves.
Ooh,
which
wolves.
are just like fascinatingly durable creatures.
Yes.
Like, one of the most interesting things that I have like learned about wolves is just like all the different kinds of parasites and illnesses and diseases that they can get that will kill other things but does not bother them. It's like,
really?
It's like, yeah, they get this. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, they get this thing that like in foxes creates this very serious problem that like kills them, but the wolf is unbothered. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, they carry around all these things. Yeah, mild irritation. It's like they're very unbothered by things.
That's
and I'm
so
like,
funny.
how are they so indestructible to all these diseases? So, and I'm like, this is why werewolves have regeneration. Like, once you read about wolves, werewolves make so much more sense.
It makes
You're
so
like,
much more sense.
It's like, why are they OP? Because that disease would have killed a tiger, but didn't kill a wolf.
That makes more sense now. It does.
I love how demanding cats can be about who they want their snuggles. Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And when they want their snuggles. Because when Sirius wants it, he's like, I'm going to get it. Especially when I'm working.
Time.
He's like, it's cuddle time, and I'm going to get my snuggles right now.
Balder and I have ongoing arguments about it depending on my mood, because I'll like be in here just chilling, having some me time, and then he'll start bitching at me because he wants to go to bed. And I'm like, you can go to bed. You don't need me to do that. And he just looks at me displeased. And I'm like, you could come cuddle up here. My lap is free. Artemis knows how to lay in my lap. And he'll just be like, just bitch some more, and then I'll just ignore him. And then he finally gets tired of it and lays on the couch until I'm ready to leave.
About a month ago, he got up on my desk and was trying to, I was petting him and stuff, and then he like laid down and was like, oh, you're gonna like cuddle with me while I'm working. I was like, oh, you're being so sweet, whatever. And then he like laid on my chest a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet. It's pets. And then all of a sudden, he like lashed on my freaking throat.
You're like,
and I was like, and I just sat real still, and I'm like, because if I moved, it would hurt worse. I'm like,
I would have thumped
dude.
his nose
Oh, he
and
got the
like,
thump after he
excuse.
let go.
Yeah.
Because he got
Yes.
some sharp teethers on him.
Yeah, they gotta know that's not okay. Like, bruh.
Like, dude.
My Artemis is like gotten to a point where she's vaguely okay with existing near my husband as long as she's with me. But she doesn't like to be carried. She doesn't like to be
Mm-mm.
carried over the dogs, and she doesn't like to be put down directly. Well, we were going on a date, so we were kicking all the cats out of our room, and she had been under the bed. Well, I got her to come out from under the bed, and then I just picked her up and carried her over the dogs, so she's already not happy with me on 2 levels. And then my husband's just standing in the doorway to the living room because he was talking to the children, just taking up the whole thing. And I'm trying to get past him, but he's just standing there. And I'm like, babe. And he's like, what? And he turns, but like she got me a little bit with her claw so that she could like jump down.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, sir, now you made my cat make me bleed. And he's like, what did I do? And I'm like, you
He
wanted
was
me
in
to
the
get the cat
way.
out of the room, and then you
You was
blocked the
in the
passage.
way. Yeah, he's come a long way. He was a stray, and they found him in a tree when he was a kitten, and he still has
Oh,
some PTSD from it, and you can tell. And so he's come a long way from it, and there's some things that he still is like no about. He's like, no, I don't want nothing to do with any of that.
yeah,
But
sometimes they just got to learn.
yeah, but he's come a long way. But yeah, I know he gets some pop sometimes. I'm like, don't be biting me.
Balder, I don't know like what piss and vinegar he gets in some days because he'll go from just cutely holding my arm to
Mm-hmm.
like trying to put his like claws in, and I'll just be like, excuse you, sir. And then
Mm-hmm.
normally he stops after that because he's like, oh no. I
Yeah,
got yelled
cats are
at.
something
I'm like,
else. Like I don't
they're just
like
like
cats are
children, they
little
forget.
cats are little hellions, I swear.
And
Little
then, oh
demon
my gosh,
child.
my dog, she thinks she's so slick sometimes. I went to like go sit on the porch to watch the kids at the bus stop this morning, and it was cold, so I went back in the house to put on some socks. And I just hear my dog getting off of my bed, and I'm like, you're not allowed to be up there when I'm not in that room. Like, I had to kick her
I
out my
mean, you
room and
saw
shut the
Cholula
door.
on the freaking table during my stream today.
Yeah.
That's not the first time she's been on the table.
See, they used to sleep on the bed with us, but then she started having some health issues. So then she was like peeing on the bed every night. And
Poor
you can
thing.
only be peed on in the middle of the night so many times before you're like, all right, I love you, but no, you're not sleeping in the bed anymore. we, they
Yeah.
have like 3 comforters, 4 pillows, 2 beds. And she's still just like, if I can get up on that bed. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you have more pillows than I do.
Yeah. Yeah, we started it's our fault. Well, my fault when it comes to her like getting on my desk because like when she was a puppy, she was so small and
Mm-hmm.
like it was annoying
Oh, I see.
because like I'd put her on her bed in her bed just on my desk like in the corner because I could watch her while I was working because I didn't want her just like running around when I was working from home. And so I would just put her on my desk like in the corner. And now she thinks she needs to get up there. I'm like, ugh, you don't need to get up there on my desk. It's
Mother,
she's like, but I want to. I'm like, no, but I can hear her little
mother.
claws like clanking up there. Like I can hear you. And so I'll be in the bathroom and it's just right around the corner from my office. And I can hear her every time like put her feet up there and I can hear you. And you're not
You
being
can't.
sneaky. I can hear you trying to get up
I
there.
I am a shadow. I am stealth incarnate, mother. What do you mean you can hear me? Isabella's sister got a new kitten at Christmas, and she's developed the habit to run from one end of the house to the other at 8 a.m. And when you don't wake up until 10, it's great. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
my dog. I don't know. why she thinks this can be a thing now. At like 5 or at 5 in the morning, she will like get up and tap 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 because she's like got long claws on the hard floor, and she goes and just like dances from one side of my bed to the other side. I have a king bed, so I just roll in the middle and ignore. But she's like, and she goes over to here, and she starts breathing louder so that I can hear her, and then she just goes tap 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 tap, and then tap 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 tap, and she'll just keep doing it. And I'm like, no, I'm not letting you outside. You do not go outside until 7. That is when you go outside. That is when I have always let you outside. We will not be getting out of this bed at 5. I didn't go to bed until 3. I don't know why you think that I'm letting you out now.
Like, we're not going to break this habit of going outside at a certain
And then
time.
she'll just lay down and go to bed. And I'm like, that's what I thought. My husband, though, he'll let her out at 5, and I'm like, this is your fault, spoiling her.
Mm-hmm.
There was one day she got particularly bad about it, so I just shut my bedroom door, and she didn't like that, so she didn't do it again for a week. I was like, that's what I thought. It's like, I will not. I was exhausted that day, and I had a hell of a migraine, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting up at 5 in the morning to stand in the kitchen for 15 minutes. I'm
One of
too
my
tired for that.
cats, one of my cats has gotten in the habit of running across our pillows in the morning.
Oh no.
And I'm like, could you not, Tsunade? Like, she'll get up there and like just run across the back of our pillows really fast. I'm like, no, do not do that. Do not do that. Because like she'll nudge them, and if that doesn't get our attention, she'll zoom. I'm like, no, stop it. I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping, damn it.
It's like, look, I understand. You suddenly have energy. That's what the rest of the house is for. I'm sleeping in this room. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do our final spring, which that is not the banner for that. Sorry, my eyelash just had a fight with my eyeball. I don't know why. But so this will be our final sprint of the night, and then we'll just check up on how everybody does. And then I have to go because my children are very tired. They have already messaged me asking when my stream is going to end. Normally, they just take advantage of Mondays and just play for a little extra, but I guess they're just real tired.
But they're like,
because
I'm tired.
they're bus riders now. So because I don't have a van right now, we're waiting to get a new one. So the school, we just switched them over to bus riders. But that means instead of getting up at 8:00 like they used to, because they used to be able to sleep in, now they have to get up at 7:15. And with the changeover and everything, yeah, they're a little tired.
I understand. This Monday's been rough for a lot of people.
But, all right. So I'll count us down.
Do it.
3, 2, 1, go. And we're back. How did the sprint go for everybody?
Good.
Hello, Nicole. I was trying to find a quote from Jiran Zhao, and I cannot find it. The quote is like something along the lines of them describing Iron Widow as an alternative history fan fiction of China's only female emperor. But I was like, I want to not paraphrase. I was trying to figure out the exact quote. But now all that's popping up is reviews of Iron Widow that is all like, it reads like a fan fiction. It's like, oh, it's got fan fiction tropes. And I'm like, I mean, Ziran said it was a fan fiction, essentially. So.
Yeah.
Also, that's just such a blasé criticism to me because I'm like, what does it mean?
It's like, why? Just because it reads like a fan fiction doesn't mean that it's bad.
Yeah, I'm like, please explain to me what reads like a fan fiction actually means, because I've read some fan fiction that I enjoyed or felt was written better than some things I've seen published. So
yeah, like that's such a
like,
yeah, like they're trying to insult somebody and it doesn't come across as
I've really begun to feel like that's just a really lazy criticism for just saying that they don't like it. So it's like fan fiction. And I'm like, you could be more specific. I was in another writing stream and our beloved Laura Nettles was sharing some of her lovely writing. Oh, awesome. Was she sharing it on stream or was she sharing inserts in chat? Because she does both sometimes and I really enjoy it. I got ready for bed and am finishing up listening to a creepypasta on YouTube. Creepypastas. She was inserting it into chat. Cool.
Good old Laura Nettles, our own very own celebrity.
She made all the timers that I used. So
yes,
except my face. I made that
gotta
one.
love Laura.
But all the other ones. One day, I should try to bribe her to make a my face timer, and then all of my timers will be Laura Nettles made, but I'll still have my face.
She can make or break half of us, or shoot, more than half of us with our timers. All she has to do is do copyright and like get us all of us.
Never. How dare you?
She would never.
But she could get us taken down so fucking fast.
Oh, she could. The whole writer community with her timers, and she's getting us all taken down.
Really, she is the grand, like she's playing the long game. That's her goal. You're welcome, and thanks for joining.
Yes, and thank you. Oh, and Lindsay, thank you for subscribing to my channel and making me reach my 50th subscriber.
Congrats!
Thank you.
Are you talking on YouTube or Twitch?
On YouTube. The YouTubes.
Take over author, dude. She can hold us all at copyright.
Hold us all hostage.
She's like, advertise my new book on your channel or else the copyrights are coming.
She really could. I'm just saying.
But all right, go ahead and do your outro.
Once again, I am K.C. Neill, and you can find me over at my channel, K.C. Neill. I do the I'm very creative in the namings. I do all the planner things, or journal planner. I do all the journaling contents. And then I also have a Twitch now, and I do random craft things over there on Twitch. So find me at both of those.
And I am writing Mom Samantha Ellen Nassett on my channel. I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer parent things. I host live streams like these on Mondays where we have fun and we chat and stuff. Soon, very soon, in 2 weeks' time, we will be doing the third Flash Fiction Free for All. So stop by, enjoy, judge, vote, have a good time with that. If you would like to read samples of my writing, go to my website, samanthallnassett.com, where I have short stories, flash fictions are up for your reading pleasure, and sign up to the newsletter so you can get, heads up on all the things that I'm doing. If you enjoyed it, you had a good time, like, subscribe, ring a ding the bell. Thank you for everybody who is here today, for everybody who listens on the
Yes.
replay. If you would like to tip me, you can do so at my Ko-fi down below. And thank you. I have to take that banner down.
Yes. Thank you, Sam, for having me.
Thank you for coming. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.